Warning, we sometimes use swear words on this podcast. Hi, we're on cue.
I'm Liz. I'm a music supervisor.
I'm Trish. I'm a film director, and we are going to dish about music and movies and life.
And St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, coming up next week.
Next Monday.
How are you going to celebrate?
Well, we tend to do corned beef. My mum was Irish.
Okay.
So I was raised very much in a culturally Irish family, Irish community. St. Patrick's Day was a big thing. When I was little, we all used to go to school with shamrock that my grandma would send over from Ireland. So my mum would always wait for the delivery of shamrock, and we'd have that, and she'd have a harp, and we'd wear something green, and she would always do a big Irish dinner with colcannon, which is potatoes and onions and cabbage and stuff with lots of butter and cream, which is delicious. So we always do that. But we do corned beef. Not a big corned beef fan, but I kind of keep the tradition up. Just have a little bit and all the sides.
Great.
Do you celebrate?
Not really. I have a lot of Irish on my mother's side of the family as well, but from like generations ago. Back when I was younger, we would like go get green beers at an Irish pub or do some stupid shit like that. No, I don't do much.
So when I was a kid, my mum and dad used to have this leprechaun, I suppose, when we were in Ireland, like a gnome. You know, kind of, what do you call that?
Like a garden gnome.
And there would be a family friend's farm, and there would be this place called the Fairy Fort. They called it. It was this brush, and they would hide the leprechaun in there, Johnny McGorry. And we would see a glimpse of red or something and run up and try and find it. And then we started to do this a few years ago for Oliver. And we have this area we can run round back. So we would put it up there, and he'd go, there's Johnny McGorry and whatever. And then one of us would run around the back and move it by the time he got up there. And there'd be like gold coins and stuff like that.
That's pretty fun.
We kind of embrace the Irishness in our family. And he loves Johnny McGorry. He talks about Johnny McGorry.
Is Johnny McGorry like a traditional thing that Irish people know about? Or did you guys make that name up? Is that like a figment of your family's imagination?
No, I think he's like a famous leprechaun. So there's an old Irish saying that goes, I'll tell you a story about Johnny McGorry. And I think there were some books written about him, like some fairy tales.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
He's a very famous leprechaun.
Sure. Okay, great. Should we get into our songs and movies for the week?
Yeah, into our St. Patrick's Day episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we thought we would choose some of our favourite Irish movies and some of our favourite songs by Irish artists.
Yeah, let's celebrate Irish.
Yes.
So, want to start us off with a song?
Yeah, my first one is by The Frames, and it's called 7 Day Mile.
Hold your head up high right through the doubt now, 'cause it's just a matter of time. You've been running so fast, it's the 7-day mile. Has you torn in between here and running away? You're running.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's from 1999 and their album called Dance the Devil. One of the writers was Glenn Hansard. He starred and co-wrote the songs on Once.
I knew that name was familiar. Okay.
And that film was directed by John Carney. I actually worked with John Carney on one of his early films called On the Edge. And we used that track in On the Edge.
You used this track we just heard?
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was Cillian Murphy's film debut.
No kidding.
Yeah, he'd been on stage in a couple of things, but that was his film debut. And John Carney was the bass player in that band in the early days.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I just love it. I mean, that's a great album. There's some great tunes on there and good songwriters.
Absolutely.
Thank you. What's your first Irish artist?
A guy named Perry Blake. This song is called This Life. It's from his first US release, an album in 2002 called California. He was kind of big in Europe and France especially. I think, he's an Irish guy, but he found a lot of success in France and in Europe, and this was kind of his first foray into the American market. He wrote this entire album about California, but it isn't really about California. It's more about a state of mind, a way a place kind of takes on a life of its own in people's imagination. And in particular, California has this kind of faded glamour, faded glory, like a sense of something being elegant, but a little bit threadbare. People's dreams come here, and when they get here, it's not always exactly what you expected. Right. So this is a song called This Life from that album.
Just a little surprise to keep you calm, to keep you calm. Shadows of love.
Love it.
Yeah, it's got like a real dreamy, escapist. There's something about his crooning falsetto voice that's just very kind of delicate and breathless. It's got all these soaring string arrangements. Several of the tracks on this album, he collaborated with an Italian composer named Marco Sabiu. And so there's a lot of, these beautiful, juicy string and orchestral parts. And I just like all the changes and the shifts and the flow of it all. It's just kind of, it's good atmospheric music.
Yeah, and that's what jumped out to me. I love the string arrangements, but also the movement throughout it.
It takes you someplace.
Yeah, I like it. Really nice. And his voice is fab.
Mm-hmm. I do love his voice.
Yeah, nice choice there.
Thanks. So let's also talk about Irish film. Tell us what you brought.
Well, this was a tough one for me because I love Irish movies and I've actually worked on 5. I worked on The Guard and Calvary, When Brenda Met Trudy, On the Edge, as I said. I did this film Disco Pigs with Cillian Murphy. I think he made his acting debut in Dublin with Disco Pigs. That's a crazy film. It's kind of a whole made-up language.
I have not seen that film.
Yeah, I think you might like that.
It sounds
actually.
like I might like it.
You'd like it. But I didn't choose, of course, any of my films, even though The Guard and Calvary were directed by John Michael McDonagh, who is the brother of Martin McDonagh, who is the director of the first film I've chosen, In Bruges.
In Bruges, yeah.
Yes. From 2008, as I say, directed by Martin McDonagh, starring Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell and Ralph Fiennes. I mean, Bruges looks so beautiful in the film. And Brendan Gleeson's character, Ken, loves Bruges. In a nutshell, they're kind of hitmen, and Colin Farrell has to do a hit on a priest. And when he kills the priest, he accidentally kills a kid who is standing behind the priest. Oof. And he gets sent to Bruges to get away for a couple of weeks, and Ken, who is kind of not his handler, maybe his mentor, Brendan Gleeson, goes with him, sent there by Harry, who is Ralph Fiennes, and Ralph Fiennes wants Ken to kill Colin Farrell, but he wanted him to have a couple of weeks in a really beautiful place. Colin Farrell hates it there. He's really bored, but Brendan Gleeson loves it. But the dialogue, with all Martin McDonagh films, the dialogue is amazing, very funny. Yeah. Their performances are just spot on. There's a bit of a questionable moment that probably hasn't aged well about a little person, a storyline about a little person. Yeah. There is always some of those moments in Martin McDonagh films that are a little bit straddling a line. Right. Score was by Carter Burwell, which I think he's done a lot of Martin McDonagh films, and really great score. Fab piece where there's that kind of shootout. I think the cue is actually called Shootout, and so it kind of changes. But I think it's Colin Farrell's best performance. I got to give him props for The Penguin, that thing that's on HBO or Max. He's brilliant in that, and it's insane that you can't recognize him and stuff. But I think he's really, really good in this film.
Awesome.
So tell us about your first Irish film.
So I love this movie. It's from 2022. It's The Quiet Girl.
Oh, I love this movie too.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Written and directed by Colm Baréad. It is based on a book, a novella, I believe, or a short story called Foster by Claire Keegan. It is set in 1981, but it has a kind of timeless feel that it could have been set even earlier. I mean, you can't really tell what time period we're in. We're out in the country in the middle of Ireland. It is an Irish language movie, so most of it is not in English. So it's basically the story of this 9-year-old girl, Kat, who spends one summer with distant relatives. Her biological mom is having a baby, so her sort of neglectful family who can't really be bothered. They've got tons of kids. They're in over their heads on every front. They send her off to be with relatives just to kind of get out of the way. And she just has this magical summer with these distant cousins. Her foster mom for the summer is played by Carrie Crowley, and the foster dad is played by Andrew Bennett. And they are this quiet couple on a working farm. They actually shot the movie on working farms in the countryside. You see the milking parlor where they milk the cows, and the well, the fresh well where they get their water. I mean, it's just really a beautiful picture of Ireland, but it's also this tremendous story of this girl kind of learning to trust and learning to know what it feels like to be loved and accepted. This couple has their own sort of secret that comes out through the course of the movie. And when Kat is reunited with her biological parents at the end, there's a big moment where she and everybody has to decide how this is all going to go. It's a heart-wrenching story. I don't want to tell too much of the story because I think it's best for people to just see it. It's a really, really good movie. I'm impressed by the acting. A 9-year-old, I think she was actually 11 at the time. The actress's name is Catherine Clinch, who plays the young girl Kat. It's her first feature film. She's so good. You know, sometimes it's hard to get a nuanced performance out of child actors. They just don't have that.
Yeah.
They don't have that restraint yet, and they don't have that wisdom yet.
She really is standout.
She gives a very
she's fantastic.
Yeah, she gives a very sophisticated and grounded performance. And the parents, both the biological parents and the foster parents, are fabulous actors. And I'd like to shout out to the DP, Kate McCullough, who shot this movie. It is so incredibly beautifully shot. The camera almost never moves. There's these beautiful shots that are very static and very locked off. Like oftentimes you feel a little boxed in by the way she's framed things through doorways or with walls on either side. The aspect ratio of the movie is not widescreen. It's kind of boxy. And all of that was done very much on purpose to make you feel this sense of being in a box and being a little claustrophobic. And as the movie progresses, the shooting style opens up a little more. You know, she starts like running for the mail every day. Her foster dad kind of gives her this task, and he times her as she runs to the end of the driveway for the mail. And there's a beautiful payoff of that at the end of the movie too. And just the metaphors of her learning to open up her world and learning to move, learning to expand a little bit. It's really beautiful the way the shooting style goes with that, the poetic details that she shoots. This DP, Kate McCullough, has a lot of documentary experience. And so I think getting into these real locations, they shot in 2020, right at the height of COVID lockdowns.
Right.
So they're just out in the middle of nowhere with a very small crew. She was really able to make use of these naturalistic settings. The lighting is beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's a very evocative film.
Absolutely.
And also, you know, spending a lot of time in Ireland in my childhood just takes me right back.
Did it ring true for you?
Absolutely. The farms and just exactly the way that it's shot just is perfect.
Yeah, it's a pretty much perfect movie. There's this beautiful, I just want to call out one other scene. There's this beautiful moment where the foster mom is brushing Kat's hair, and there's very restrained use of score throughout the movie. There's not a lot of score. The composer was Stephen Rennicks, and the score that's in there is beautiful and appropriate. But in this moment, the mom is just counting brush strokes in the hair, and there's a montage of Kat learning about the farm and learning about their life, all set to the tones of the mom brushing her hair and counting. It's so beautiful. And this actress who plays the foster mom, Carrie Crowley, was a big radio personality from what I understand. So she has this beautiful voice. Later in the movie, she's also singing while she's brushing her hair. And there's something, just the sort of soothing dignity of that. It's just lovely.
There's something about an Irish accent as well, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a beautiful movie.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie. Definite recommendation for someone to go and watch.
Hell yeah.
It's a wonderful film.
Yeah, it really is. Should we move back into music?
Yes.
Tell us another song by an Irish artist that you're into.
My next song is by Sinead O'Connor, and it's called Mandinka.
I don't know no shame, I feel no pain, I can't see the flame, but I do know Mandinka. I do know Mandinka.
It's from her first album, The Lion and the Cobra. This was the first ever Sinead O'Connor song I ever heard in 1987.
The first Sinead O'Connor
Yeah.
song you ever heard.
And it made me go out and buy the album, The Lion and the Cobra. My ears pricked up. I mean, I saw the video. It blew my socks off. It's so different from the video. Everyone knows.
Of course.
Nothing compares to you. She's kind of badass in it and she looks great. It's kind of edgy. That whole album, all the songs on that album are great. I love Sinead O'Connor. I think she was a wonderful songwriter. I think she got such a bad rap after SNL and throughout her life. She was a real visionary and a truth teller. I think she got berated for it, but she has a place in my heart because she was, I know she suffered from mental health issues. And all these people kind of come out the woodwork after she passed away and they're all like how amazing she was. But she didn't get a lot of that love while she was alive, I don't think.
Oh,
Even
for
though I
sure.
think she got respect for her music, but everyone was ready to kind of slag her off. I don't think she was prepared to compromise. I think that made her life really difficult. I haven't watched the documentary on her life. I really want to. But I know this sounds a bit dramatic. I can't face it right now. I was really moved when she passed away. And I do want to watch it, but I know it's just going to be so sad.
Yeah.
So I have to find that right moment to watch it. But yeah, Mandinka from the album, The Lion and the Cobra, her first ever album. It's a great song.
Yeah, I love it. You're right. It's such a different sound from what everybody knows from the Sinead O'Connor that was on SNL, which I love as well. But yeah, you're right. This is a much different sound. And it was way before all that happened. And,
Yeah.
you know,
It's really kind of edgy and gutsy and gritty. And, you know, there's so many Sinead O'Connor songs that I like. But whenever I hear this, I have to stop and sing to it.
yeah, totally. I mean, it's so catchy.
Yeah,
She wrote catchy songs.
she did.
Yeah.
So, what's your second Irish artist?
Well, speaking of catchy,
Yeah.
I'm going fast track to Catchy Town here. C-Matt.
Oh, love C-Matt.
I love her. I could pick any of her songs, but I'm going with the song Mayday.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick listen.
Saw the pressure goes on fire, woo-hoo, and Mississippi's underwater too. But all that I am my is you. There's nothing that I can do. Why would you leave me here? Why would you go away? Why the world is ending? You should be spending time with me.
This is a 2023 single. It was inspired by the B-52s. She wanted to do this retro surf rock 60s sounding song that kind of channeled the nuclear anxiety of the B-52s era.
Yeah.
And wanted to make what she calls a very sexy song about climate change. Which I just love. She's so campy. She's so chaotic. I think she's somewhere between like Dolly Parton and Amy Winehouse with like a little bit of Katy Perry in there. If Katy Perry maybe
Yeah.
was cooler.
She's colorful.
She's colorful. She's maximalist. She's got a wild sense of humor. She has jewels in her teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, and cowboy
She's a-
boots and fur hats.
She's a character.
She's a character. Her full name is Sierra Mary Alice Thompson, but she goes by her initials of CMAT. She has kind of an interesting story. I guess before she was really making a lot of music herself, she was in a bad relationship and her life was kind of a mess. And she went to a Charlie XCX listening session. And, you know, they take unreleased songs and play them for people and get their feedback or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I guess most of the people in the crowd were just kind of kissing Charlie's ass and telling her how great her shit was. And CMAT was the only one who was like, hold on, no, and gave really kind of brutal feedback. And after this whole thing, Charlie pulled her aside and was like, what the hell are you doing giving feedback like that? Go out and make your own damn music, girl. And she apparently said, literally, sort your shit out.
Yes.
And that was the moment where she's like, all right. And she did. She got her life together and she started making her own music. The Guardian calls it witty country pop, which I love. And I think it's just great. In this song, she's taking on climate change, but she said she didn't want to do it in the usual sort of soapboxy way. So when she came up with this song, her boyfriend at the time was in Portugal or somewhere where they were having to evacuate for wildfires. And she was in a place where they were having a cold snap or whatever. And so she wrote this song saying, this is a line from the song, while the world is ending, you should be spending time with me. And it's basically what climate change looks like from the perspective of ordinary people.
Yeah.
You know? And I just kind of love taking a very, very serious and overwhelming topic and bringing it down to earth with how it affects all of us on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I think she's great.
I do too. I'm a big fan. Did you ever see her cover of Wuthering Heights?
It's me, Kathy, I've come home at night. So cold, let me in your window. Heathcliff, it's me, Kathy, I've come home at night. So cold, let me in your window.
She played in London and she did this cover of Wuthering Heights. And I was like, oh God, because I love Kate Bush. And it's actually brilliant. There's a video of her. Maybe we should put a link to it. There's a video of her on YouTube performing this live and she hits every note. I mean, you can imagine how hard that song is to cover. It's fantastic. And she does a whole thing like, if this song means a lot to you, I'm really sorry.
My apologies to anyone for whom this next song is a sacred text. We're going to do it anyway, aren't we?
But she actually delivers. It's brilliant.
She's good. She's really good.
Yeah, good choice.
Thanks. Let's talk about movies some more. Bring
Okay.
us another Irish movie that you like.
This is one from 1989.
Okay.
My Left Foot, directed by Jim Sheridan, starring Daniel Day-Lewis. It's about Christy Brown, based on his book. He had cerebral palsy and he painted and wrote with his left foot. It's an astonishing performance by Daniel Day-Lewis. He won the Academy Award for Best Actor for it. Very moving, very powerful and optimistic. You know, he lives in an Irish family, lots of kids in the family. It's really about his story of how he developed in the beginning when he's much younger. He can't talk, he can't really communicate, but you can see he's in there, he understands, he taking everything in, and then he starts beginning to express himself and paint and write and becomes this amazing man. He fully immersed himself in that character. He stayed in a wheelchair the whole time he was shooting the film.
Whoa.
He learned to paint with his left foot so he could capture the essence of Christy Brown. I think filming was quite a challenge, staying in character.
Yeah.
He had a real problem getting around.
It's so intense when actors go method like that.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. And I mean, when you see his performance, it's not like he could just show up and turn that on in 5 minutes.
Right. You have to live in it.
You have to live in that for a long time. So, yeah, he just blew my mind when I first saw that. Brenda Fricker plays his mum. She won the Academy Award as well for Best Supporting Actress. She's fantastic in it. Real wonderful portrayal of a loving and supportive mother. She was one of the emotional highlights of the film for me. I think it did a lot telling Christy Brown's story. I think it did a lot for cerebral palsy awareness because it really kind of put it out there, and with such a massive reach that film had, with such a great performance. And I think it was a major breakthrough for Jim Sheridan. I think it was his first film. He went on to do another film actually that was in my shortlist, In the Name of the Father. He also directed The Boxer. But I mean, I think he's one of the most important directors of his generation.
I agree.
That to me is just a wonderful film.
Yeah. He has a way of making already extraordinary things somehow seem more extraordinary, but also bringing them down to earth at the same time in a way that makes them believable.
Yeah, and relatable.
And relatable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thanks. So your final film.
My other film is one from 2016 called A Date for Mad Mary. Did you ever see this movie?
I did.
It's goofy, but also I found it quite moving. It's a comedy, but it had some heft for me. It's directed by Darren Thornton, who also wrote it based on a one-woman show by Yasmin Akram. It stars Shauna Kerslake as Mary.
Right.
And then it also stars Charlie Bailey as her best friend Charlene, and also Tara Lee as this woman Jess in the film. The basic storyline is Mary is a delinquent ne'er-do-well. She's in prison at the beginning of the movie. She's actually just getting out of prison. She spent 6 months there. We're going to learn that she was in a bar fight where she slashed someone's face. She's been a problem her whole life, clearly. She's getting out of prison and going home where she is really an outcast. Her best friend is getting married and has moved on with her life. And honestly, my favorite thing about this movie, besides the excellent performances, is the messages about female friendship. Breakups and friends drifting in different directions is really painful.
Yeah.
I think it's painful for everyone, but especially for women and women identifying people, because we do make really, really strong bonds with each other and we make them fast. And it's almost like a romantic relationship. And in fact, as she's sort of trying to process her best friend having moved on without her, she has a sort of very intense friendship that turns into a love romantic relationship with another woman. And you can really see how it's her loneliness and her need for closeness with another woman. That's where her pain is coming from. It's very funny. I think that Shauna Kerslake is a super talented actress. She manages to play the delinquent, unlovable person in such a lovable way.
But she is really lovable.
So lovable.
Yeah.
And she's just so funny. She plays a lot of the humor very straight-faced. It's not big and broad at all. It's quite subtle. And it's a delightful film.
Yeah, it is. I haven't seen that film since, when was it?
2016.
2016, yeah. But
it holds up because also 10 years is a long time when you're making a film that's of that period. And this very much feels like 2016 to me. It's rare that those films 10 years later still kind of work because they're dealing with the cultural zeitgeist of the moment. And this one to me still holds up.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good choice.
It's a sweet movie.
Yeah.
Liz, tell us your last Irish artist.
My last Irish artist is a very personal one for me.
Okay.
It's by the Furies and Davy Arthur, and it's called When You Were Sweet 16. It was a big part of my life in the 80s. My mum used to play this song all the time. She used to play this album. She loved super sentimental songs. She would probably cry at least half the time she listened to this track. She loved her traditional Irish music, and anything super sentimental, she would gravitate to it. And so, I mean, I don't find this song cheesy. I think it's gorgeous. The vocals are lovely. The Furies, I love them actually. I grew up listening to so much Irish music. And then when I was younger, I was like really anti-Irish music because it was just always in my life. Lots of diddly-I-die-die stuff. And I was like, I don't want that in my life. But then I became a massive Pogues fan. And actually, one of the best St. Patrick's Days I ever had was at the Town and Country Club on March 17th. I think about 1987, I went to see the Pogues live. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were hard to kind of not have in my top 3 songs, so I'm going to give them an honourable mention. But this, I mean, there are tons of recordings of this track. I know there's a version by Perry Como. This was the first version I ever heard of this track. And I love it. It reminds me of my mum whenever I hear it. When my mum came over to meet Oliver for the first time, we put on some Irish music. She wanted him to hear some Irish music. I came into the room and she was singing. She had him in her arms and she was singing this song to him. So it's a very special song for me.
Yeah, that's
actually.
pretty sacred.
Yeah, it's lovely. Shall we play a bit of it?
Come to me in my dreams of love alone. I love you as I loved you when you were sweet, when you were sweet, 16.
I love that.
I know it's beautiful, isn't it?
It is. And his voice is so gravelly.
I know.
It's almost like if beard stubble were a voice.
That's exactly.
Just like a little scratchy,
yeah.
a little rough, but really cute.
So your final Irish artist, Trish, what is it?
My final one is a song. I'm going to say that it's by Phil Lynott, but it's also kind of a Thin Lizzy song. He was the front man for Thin Lizzy. This song is called A Night in the Life of a Blues Singer.
I was a blues singer, a young blues singer. I had no troubles, and I had lots of friends. But friends, they come and go, and sometimes friendship ends. All my life, I've had.
I love this song.
I love his voice.
I do too. I'm not like the hugest Thin Lizzy fan, but I think he's pretty genius. I like Thin Lizzy, but that was never really my style of music. But I just love this song, and I love his style. He wrote this for their 1979 album, Black Rose, A Rock Legend. It did not make it onto the original album. Instead, when they re-released like a box set in 2001, it was on that album, that extended version of the album. He himself released it as a solo in 1985 as the B-side of a single, a 12-inch single for another song called 19. That was actually his last single. He died in 1986 after that. There's kind of a sadness about this song for me. It's a bluesy song, obviously. Some have said it's semi-autobiographical. All bluesy songs are aching and melancholy in their own way. But the fact that he did die less than 10 years after it was written, the band only played it once, I think, live themselves. Yeah, in 1983. He died 3 years after that. And it's a soulful song.
Yeah, you dug deep for that one. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that song for a long time.
Yeah, I did dig deep for it because I wanted to maybe put a Thin Lizzy song on because they are such a big part of Irish music. And I just didn't love any of their songs enough until I found this one. And I was like, oh, okay, hold on. That one really speaks to my soul. And then I learned, I didn't know that Phil Lynott wrote poetry.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he has 2 books of poetry. There's just something so soul-bearing about that. You know, here's this guy who's the front man of this very loud, preposterous
rock band.
And he had this real soft side. So
He wrote a lovely song. Have you ever heard it called Sarah?
for his daughter.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my favorite Thin Lizzy track.
I almost put that one on too. Well, it was between those 2 songs. I love that song as well. Yeah.
That's a beautiful song.
Yeah, he's a rock and roller with a heart of gold.
Absolutely.
Clearly had a lot of problems and a lot of dysfunction in his life, but there's something just quite appealing about him.
Yeah, I think he had a bit of a sad childhood.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. He was a great songwriter.
Great songwriter, bassist, lead vocalist, just a talented guy
For sure.
who wore boot polish under his eyes.
Wow.
Before that was trendy.
Was it ever a
Was
thing?
boot polish as eyeliner ever trendy? I don't know, but he did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it.
Cool guy. Liz, are you ready for a cocktail?
Yes, I am.
I made us a green cocktail today.
I can see it green on green.
It's kind of electric green. It is called the JOHNNY MCGORY.
I love it. The Johnny McGorry.
Cheers.
Cheers. It can taste like Ireland.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm not going to lie. I was more fixated on the way it looked than the way it tastes.
I like it. I can taste lime in it.
There's lime juice in it. There's a little bit of blue Curaçao, a fair amount of yellow Chartreuse, and vodka.
Oh, no absinthe.
No. I thought about using absinthe for the nice green color, but I know you don't like licorice.
Not a big fan.
And so I steered away from that. I don't know that this is an improvement over
I
licorice.
quite like this
You
one.
like it, huh?
I do like it. It doesn't really taste like Ireland or what I know as Ireland.
It tastes like a bad chain restaurant at happy hour to me, which I hope is not what Ireland tastes like.
No, it doesn't taste like that to me. I'm definitely getting that feeling in my throat of harsh liquor. You know, when you take a sip and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm getting that on a not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Some of that might be the Chartreuse. Chartreuse
Oh.
has all this herbal syrupiness that kind of gets stuck in your throat. And I feel like I doubled down with
Oh, you
Blue
did?
Curaçao and Chartreuse, which are two very sweet, syrupy.
Yes.
But how else are you going to get this shade of green?
I mean, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous color. I love it.
Maybe this is one to be looked at more than to be tasted. But I'm still going to drink it.
I'm going to drink it all. Oh, every time I take that
Same.
sip, I'm like, oh,
It has the taste of like a bathtub drink at a frat party.
but it wouldn't look like this at a frat party.
It wouldn't be this pretty.
No.
And it wouldn't have Chartreuse in it. You can't even buy Chartreuse.
I know. I tried to buy a bottle of Chartreuse. I couldn't get any.
Well, it's made by monks, and
Yeah.
they have decided not to make very much despite the increased demand because it's kind of in style right now. The monks are like, we don't fucking care.
Is it expensive?
It's not cheap.
Well, thank you for double downing on that.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to make a cheap looking, cheap tasting drink out of something pretty expensive. That's
should
not
have-
the goal, but
I'm missing the umbrella. If you could get a black umbrella to put in here,
that would
not
be,
a colourful
That would have
one.
been so Irish to have a
Yeah.
black umbrella and a pair of wellies hanging off or something.
Well, cheers. I love it. To Johnny.
So, Liz, it's your turn to bring us your favorite thing this week. What is it?
Oh, I love my favourite thing. I think you will too.
Great.
Soft eyes.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Soft eyes are when a dog, and maybe other animals actually, probably donkeys do this and horses, when they slowly close their eyes, they kind of go like that. It shows trust, relaxation, bonding, affection, all of those things. All of our dogs do soft eyes. Bella is the queen of soft eyes. And that's when I first learned about soft eyes when we got Bella, because she would keep looking into my eyes. And then she was like, it would be kind of a slow, and she has really gorgeous eyelashes.
Yes. It's
And
like,
then she would smile.
Liz, some people can't see you right now. I have the delight of being able to see what you're doing. So
I'm
I'll
soft eyeing
Yeah,
you.
let me explain to people. It's a very earnest and intense gaze with like a slow blink.
Well, I've noticed you didn't soft eye me back.
You don't like my soft eye. You say that I look crazy when I do
Let's see your soft eye. Go on, do it again.
My dogs love my soft eye. It's
quite
just
like-
you.
No, I like your soft eye. It's very earnest soft eye.
I thought that was like the main goal is you have to be
I love that
real
soft eye.
earnest. And like if you can bring a little wateriness to your eyes and a little big round,
Oh my God.
right?
Yeah,
So
that was a lovely soft eye.
thank you.
Really nice.
I've been working
soft
on it
eye.
ever since you laughed at me last time. And I've been practicing with the dogs. And
Have you?
Yeah, they do soft eye back.
I think what we should do is we should actually take some videos of our dogs
Soft
soft
eyeing.
eyeing and make a soft eye compilation.
Remember when we talked about the scene with the baby in Grosse Pointe Blank a few weeks
Yes.
ago? We could recreate that scene with our dogs soft eyeing. Having this like big emotional connection. Because it's interesting, you know, dogs don't normally look you straight in the eye because it's pretty aggressive to
Yeah.
make prolonged eye contact. And I have read that soft eye thing is sort of a learned connection with humans because it's not something a dog would otherwise do and
They
love.
mirror.
Yeah.
They mirror us.
Yeah.
And Bella always soft eyes back.
Yeah.
Always. She never leaves you hanging. Phoenix, often she's like, Mum, don't do that. That's really weird.
I'm getting a good new data set by using our new puppy, Hot Pastrami, as a test subject with the soft eyeing because she's not as inclined to do it as my other two dogs. Because she's young and
She doesn't know about it.
She doesn't know, but she'll do it sort of when she's in a really calm, relaxed state, but she avoids eye contact the rest of the time. And I think it is that natural dog tendency, but she'll learn. Don't worry.
Well, we also experience an oxytocin boost when we soft eye. They do and we do.
That makes sense.
That's the love hormone.
Perfect.
So that's why we're bonding and feel comfortable, and it kind of reinforces that bond between us. And also dogs soft eye other dogs.
Is that right?
Yeah, when they first meet them, when they're trying to be friends or say, look, I'm not a threat to you, they often soft eye them. Some people say dogs have 100, some even 200 facial expressions, but others say there's like 27, or I like to think they have 200. I think some dogs are more expressive than other dogs. Some breeds have a more expressive face than other breeds.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also, some people know dogs better than others. I mean, all of my dogs have at least 200 expressions.
Yeah.
But I don't know that everybody would agree with that. But if you live with them for 10 years like I do, then you see it. Some of that is how well do you know your dogs or any dog, and how much attention are you paying to their facial.
Well, I spend a lot of time looking at my dog's facial expressions and trying to understand them.
Same.
And I do know all their cues, like when they woof or they do this or they do that. I know what they're saying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so in tune with my dogs.
Yeah, you are.
I love it. It's nice to be able to communicate with them. I mean, they understand us and they learn our language, so I want to try and learn theirs. And soft eyeing is a beautiful thing.
I want to point out something interesting that you may not have thought about.
Go on.
Some chickens soft eye as well.
No, they don't.
Yeah. My
What?
chicken Ruby soft eyed, and my chicken Wendy Perez soft eyes, and my chicken Bert occasionally, depending on her mood, will soft eye, and Congri will sometimes soft eye as well. Not all chickens, because they are prey animals and they don't always want to gaze into your eyes, but the chickens that are really bonded to me and are really trusting and also needy for affection, very good at soft eyeing.
Do you soft eye first, or when you're with them, they soft eye you first?
It depends on the chicken. Wendy Perez is always the first to soft eye. Bert will do it in response.
Oh gosh, maybe could you take a video of Wendy Perez
Yeah.
soft eyeing?
Yeah, I
I'd
will.
love to see that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's interesting too. I have a chicken named Denise who's not the most snuggly, but she's very affectionate. Touch is not her love language. And so she likes to be very near me, and she has very soulful black rimmed eyes. She soft eyes really hard, but she doesn't want to be held or snuggled. She just wants
Got
to
it.
stand near me and soft eye.
Right. I love soft eyeing.
Yeah.
If it wasn't too weird, it might be quite nice to soft eye to humans.
I think humans do soft eye each other. Isn't that what like bedroom eyes and flirtatious eyes is?
You know me, Trish, I'm terrible with flirting and shit like that.
I'm not terrible at it.
You know when you're doing it. I'm not very good. I have no idea what I'm doing with that. And I don't think my soft eyeing would get anyone into bed. Look, here goes. Right, ready?
Go. I mean, it's a little
That's
clinical.
not really going to do it. It does it for a dog.
It's giving the vibe of like, I'm about to give you your injection now. Calm down.
What the fuck? No way.
That's what I get from it.
You're not getting a flirtatious.
No.
Okay, do your soft
It's
eye
like
then.
gentle caretaking, but also get ready. This is going to hurt.
Okay, hold on then. I'm going to do flirtatious soft eye.
I mean, I definitely see that it was flirtatious soft eye.
You did?
Yeah, but it was also cringy. The eyebrows were involved. There was...
See? Don't ask me to do anything like that. I can't do flirtatious. I can't do anything like that. That's it. Okay, you do flirtatious soft eye. Yeah, I get it. But you've got the mouth going. You got a mouth
Always.
going. You got a mouth going.
Always.
I'm not with the mouth. I don't do the mouth.
Well, if you sit there slack-jawed, it kind of takes away from the soft eye. You got to show them that you're going to put your money where your mouth is while you're soft eyeing.
Do you do that to the dogs? A mouth like that?
Probably.
I don't know if that's appropriate if they're your kids. Full on flirtatious soft eye. I don't have that. I don't know how to flirt. I think I need some lessons from you.
I love to flirt. I'll flirt with any old fucking person or animal.
It's tarot time.
tarot time.
See, I sung it then.
Yeah, I like when you sing.
Most people don't.
I do.
Tarot time.
Yeah, with that vibrato.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that high speed vibrato.
What about with a soft eye?
Do it.
Okay. It's tarot time.
Do you have a question for the deck?
I do. Well, the cards were mad at me the last time, and I think I pushed them a little far.
You were a little disrespectful. I
I didn't mean to be. I really didn't mean to be, but you told me I was.
Harm is not always intentional, Liz.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. And I did apologize to them with my heart.
Okay.
My question is, will they forgive me?
Do the cards forgive you?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you pull a card?
I'm coming over.
What'd you get, Liz?
I got the devil.
Oh.
Have the cards forgiven me?
I mean, I don't love a yes or no answer, and nor does the deck, which I feel like, first of all, it's saying stop asking me stupid yes and no
Okay.
questions. If you're going to ask me a yes and no question, I'm going to give you a no. But also, the interesting thing about the devil card, do you see those two people who are chained up on it? Does it look like they're chained for life, or does it look like they could get out of those chains?
I don't have any clothes on.
Sure, they're naked.
The devil has some kind of weird trousers on,
Well, those are his goat legs.
but they're not fully hairy all the way down. Anyway, they don't look like they're chained for life.
Right. So I feel like that's saying this is on you. You can choose whether the deck is mad at you or not. Stop being such a loser with the questions that you ask and the way you treat the deck. But I mean,
The devil looks pissed. His face is like really angry.
we choose whether we're going to be chained to that thing or not. So if you don't want the deck to be mad at you, it won't be, but you have to stop asking yes or no questions, which you didn't do today. So it's time for Record of the Week.
Yes.
What have we got?
We've got a great one. It's called Crooked the Road by Monrovia. And this has taken me a little while to clear this track. A lot of different parties I've had to get approval from, and it's been well worth it. It was released back in August, but he released an EP called Act for Atonement back in January with this song on it. Monrovia is Liberian-born and Appalachian-based. His voice has such a wonderful, soothing tone. The whole EP has a real minimalist, introspective kind of tone, and this song is full of hope and light. It was written after some dark times in his life. Beautiful, beautiful song. I absolutely love it. This EP is just so peaceful. If you kind of want to have a reflective moment, stick this on. It's really beautiful. I want to thank Kayla at Secret Road, Sam Hudgens, Jason at Cobalt, Talia and Andrea at Network, and Megan at Prescription Songs. They all gave us approval to use this. So thank you.
Wow, you did have to clear it with a lot of people.
Yeah, it was well worth it though.
Wow. Well, thank you everybody for clearing it. Thank you for all the hard work, Liz. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all our Irish friends. I have quite a few of them. So hopefully they're listening and they're going to have a fab debauch time.
Absolutely. Enjoy this song, and we will.
See you next Tuesday.
Right on cue.
Crooked the road and the one driving. 25 years, I know you've been unraveling. Tell me, why did you run past the dogs and the horses? Now you find yourself here, past the do's and don'ts of your choices. But if you're leaving, no, I'll stay beside that telephone line. And tomorrow we might steal the sun from underneath our eyes. tennis courts when I was yours. Late night releasing sacred floors got me believing a little more. This pain will run its course. In the morning I saw you there holding out your hand. If I grab it, know that I care, 'cause darkness don't look good. But if you're leaving, know I'll stay beside that telephone line. And tomorrow we might steal the sun from underneath our eyes. Day breaks sorrow, and I still feel the edge of this cold night. But next to you, I lay softly on this hard ground. But next to you, I lay softly on this hard ground.
On Cue is produced and edited by Kathleen Gallacher.